The vast darkness of space stretched endlessly before Captain Mara Vera as she sat in the command chair of the Aurora's edge. Stars glittered like tiny diamonds scattered across black velvet. Yet Mara's eyes were drawn to a quiet, empty sector near the outer colonies. It was the kind of region many ships avoided, silent, uncharted, and rumored to be a graveyard for vessels that had disappeared without a trace. Her crew worked diligently around her, monitoring instruments and performing routine checks. Lieutenant Kale, her second in command, leaned over a console, his brow furrowed. "Captain, I'm picking up something unusual," he said, his voice calm but tinged with surprise. "It's faint, but it's moving. Slow. Almost drifting. I can't identify the energy signature." Mara straightened, curiosity sharpening her gaze. "Show me," she ordered. The screen flickered, displaying a faint, glowing outline of a ship. It drifted slowly, its hull battered, lines jagged, as if it had survived countless battles or accidents. And on the shattered mast of the vessel, a shadowy figure waved. The crew exchanged uneasy glances. It was impossible. Ships like this didn't survive in this region for centuries. And a figure, waving? It should be impossible. Yet there it was, hauntingly real. Caught in the drift of the void, Mara's heart quickened, a mixture of fear and excitement coursing through her. She had faced strange phenomena before, but nothing like this. "Prepare the boarding team," she said, her voice steady. "We're going in." Kale hesitated. "Captain, with all due respect, we don't even know if it's alive. It could be a trap. We could lose a team." Mara met his gaze. "And we could discover something no one else has ever seen. This is what we trained for. The choice is ours." She turned back to the drifting ghost ship. Its faint glow seemed to pulse, as though sensing her decision. The team suited up, checking weapons and scanning devices, and soon the airlock opened. Mara led the way, followed by Kale, Engineer Lyra, and 2 security officers. The emptiness of space seemed absolute as they moved through the void toward the spectral ship. When they entered, the first sensation was silence. No hum of engines, no faint mechanical whirring, not even the echo of their own movements. The ship's interior was untouched by decay, surprisingly intact. Panels glimmered faintly, casting a soft blue light across polished floors. Strange symbols lined the walls, their glow ebbing and flowing like a heartbeat. Mara raised her hand. "Stay alert," she whispered. "We don't know what we're dealing with." As they moved further, the shadow appeared again. It floated through the air, shifting shape as if it were liquid darkness, yet unmistakably human. It raised a hand in greeting or warning. Lyra stepped back, her breath catching. It's alive," she murmured. Kale shook his head. "No, it can't be alive. It's some kind of holographic something." Mara approached the figure cautiously. "I don't know what it is," she said, "but it's trying to communicate. We need to understand it." The shadow drifted toward the central corridor, beckoning. Mara signaled the team to follow. And as they did, visions began to flash around them. Mara saw glimpses of a crew, alive and laughing, preparing for a journey. She saw charts and stars. Then a sudden explosion, panic, and silence. The vision vanished, leaving only the ghostly ship and its mysterious occupant. "This ship," Mara said, her voice tight with awe. It belonged to humans. But from when? This technology, it's older than anything we've ever recorded." Lyra moved toward a console, brushing her fingers over a panel. Data flickered to life, revealing fragments of navigation logs, crew manifests, and mission objectives. Mara leaned in, scanning quickly. The ship had been sent centuries ago, an exploration vessel meant to map regions beyond the known colonies. Somehow, it had been lost, drifting ever since. The shadow hovered near the main control room. Mara stepped forward and touched a glowing interface. Immediately, a holographic projection erupted in front of her. It was a man, his features sharp and clear, though translucent. "I am Captain Arendor," he said. His voice echoed softly in the minds of those present, though no sound seemed to come from speakers. "We were sent to explore, and we failed. I remain trapped, a memory tied to this vessel. Help me, and you will uncover truths beyond your imagining." Mara felt a chill. This was more than she could have expected. "How do we help you?" she asked. The shadow extended a hand toward the ship's navigation logs. It pointed at a coordinate system, distant, uncharted. "There lies what humanity has forgotten. What you find there will change your understanding of who we are." End quote. Kale glanced nervously at Mara. "Captain, we have no idea what we're stepping into. This could be a trap, or worse, some cosmic anomaly that will swallow us whole." Mara's eyes met his. "And it could also be the greatest discovery humanity has ever made. We can't turn back now." The crew spent hours analyzing the ship's data. They discovered its engines still retained minimal power, enough to maneuver if needed. The navigation logs indicated a hidden planetary system, long lost to maps, containing structures and artifacts predating known history. Mara's mind raced. If this was true, humanity's past and future was far richer than anyone had imagined. As they prepared to depart, strange phenomena began to appear. Lights flickered across corridors, shadows twisted unnaturally, and whispers echoed in their minds, as if the ship itself were alive, aware of every move. Mara felt the weight of the ship's memory pressing on her. Stories of a crew that had dreamed, explored, and perished alone. Yet despite the fear, Mara felt resolve. This was why she had joined the explorers. To uncover the unknown. To follow humanity's legacy wherever it led. Even into the heart of mystery and danger. The crew gathered in the observation deck. The ghostly figure waved one final time before drifting toward the mast, fading like smoke in zero gravity. Mara watched, feeling a strange mix of sadness and hope. This captain, this ship, had been waiting for centuries for someone to understand, to continue the mission. "Set course for those coordinates," Mara said. Her voice was firm, filled with determination. "Whatever awaits us, we face it together. Humanity has always survived. And we will survive this too." The Aurora's edge disengaged from the ghost ship and slowly drifted away, leaving the spectral vessel behind. Yet the knowledge they had gained, the echo of Captain Arendor, remained with them. The coordinates glowed on their screens, promising discovery, challenge, and wonder beyond measure. As stars rushed past them, Mara thought of the crew who had perished centuries ago, of the courage it took to journey into the unknown. She felt a connection, a lineage of explorers stretching across time and space. Humanity was small, fragile, and yet endlessly persistent. And now, they had a chance to reclaim a lost part of themselves. Lyra turned to Mara. "Do you really think we're ready for this?" she asked. Voice tinged with awe and fear. Mara smiled faintly, her eyes fixed on the distant coordinates. "We don't have a choice. We have to be. Humanity always finds a way." The ship's engines hummed, carrying them deeper into the void, toward secrets older than memory, toward the ghostly legacy of a ship that had waited, patiently, for someone to remember. The shadow from the shattered mast was gone, but its message lingered a whisper across time, calling them forward, and as the Aurora's edge disappeared into the infinite darkness, Mara felt the weight of history and hope pressing together. The journey had begun, and humanity's story was about to become far richer, far stranger, and far more magnificent than anyone could have imagined. The Aurora's edge glided silently through the black expanse of space, its engines humming steadily as it followed the coordinates left behind by the ghostly ship. Captain Maravera sat in the command chair, her eyes scanning the starfield ahead. Around her, the crew was tense, but focused. The air was thick with anticipation, every heartbeat echoing the unspoken question. What lay waiting at the end of this journey? Lieutenant Kale broke the silence, Captain, I've cross-referenced the coordinates with every star chart in the database. There's nothing here. No records, no planets, no colonies. It's as if this sector was deliberately erased from history. Mara leaned forward, her fingers brushing the console. That's why we're here. Humanity's past is full of mysteries. We just found one hiding in plain sight. Engineer Lyra glanced up from her station. I've been monitoring the ship's systems. The energy output is odd. It's almost like the ghost ship left a trail. A faint signal embedded in the coordinates. I can feel it in the readings, pulsing. Whatever we find, it's connected to that ship. Kale frowned. Connected or dangerous? We still don't know what we're stepping into. Mara ignored the warning. Curiosity had always guided her, and now it burned brighter than caution. We proceed, she said firmly. Everyone, stay alert. We don't know what we'll find, but we face it together. Hours passed as the Aurora's edge drifted deeper into uncharted space. Suddenly, the sensors began to pick up faint distortions in the void ahead. Shadows shimmered across the view screens, as if reality itself was bending. Crew members exchanged uneasy looks. Lyra's voice broke the tension. Captain, these distortions, they're not natural. It's like the space around us is alive, reacting to our presence. Mara nodded slowly. Keep scanning. We need to understand what we're approaching before we get too close. As they neared the source of the signal, the distortion intensified. A faint outline of a planet emerged through the haze, surrounded by swirling energy currents that made it appear as if the world itself was breathing. The planet's surface glowed faintly, hinting at structures buried beneath clouds of strange, luminous gases. The ghostly shadow from the ship appeared again on the view screen. It drifted, more solid than before, pointing toward the planet's surface. Mara's pulse quickened. It wants us to land, she said softly. That must be where the artifacts are. Kale shook his head. Landing there could be suicide. We don't know the atmosphere, gravity, or what's guarding those ruins. Mara met his gaze. And we don't know what we're missing if we don't go. Humanity has always taken risks to survive and grow. This is no different. The landing sequence began. The ship descended slowly through the glowing clouds, the energy currents crackling around them like invisible lightning. The Aurora's edge shuddered under the strain, and alarms rang as sensors struggled to stabilize. Mara's hands moved with practiced precision, keeping the vessel steady. Finally, the ship touched down on a plateau overlooking massive structures that stretched toward the sky. They were unlike any human construction known, built with a precision that seemed beyond comprehension. Strange symbols, similar to those in the ghost ship, covered the surfaces, glowing faintly. The crew disembarked cautiously. Mara led the way, her boots crunching softly on the alien terrain. Lyra scanned the ground, her device picking up faint energy traces. These readings, they're incredible. It's like this place is a library of power. Every structure, every symbol, is storing information, energy, memories. Kale frowned, uneasy. Memories? Are you saying the planet itself is alive? Lyra shook her head. Not alive. Not in the way we understand. But it's resonating. Everything here is connected to the past, to humanity's lost history. The ghost ship, it led us here for a reason. As they moved deeper into the ruins, the shadow appeared beside them. Unlike before, it now seemed more tangible, more present. It gestured for them to follow, drifting through walls and floors as if it had no physical limits. Mara's heart raced. It's guiding us, she whispered. We have to trust it. The ruins were vast and labyrinthine. Some corridors led to chambers filled with holographic projections of people, cities, and spacecraft long forgotten. The crew watched in awe as images flickered to life, showing humans exploring distant planets centuries before recorded history. This changes everything, Kale muttered. We've always thought humanity's reach was limited. But this shows we were far more advanced than anyone imagined. Lyra nodded. And the ghost ship? It's part of that history. The captain's consciousness, trapped in that vessel, preserved the coordinates, waiting for someone to continue their mission. They entered a central chamber, vast and circular, with a massive console at its center. Symbols glowed along its surface, pulsing rhythmically. The shadow hovered above it, then gestured toward Mara. She approached cautiously and touched the console. Instantly, a flood of images and data surged into her mind. Knowledge of human colonies, exploration missions, technologies lost to time. She staggered, overwhelmed. "Captain!" Kale shouted. "Are you okay?" Mara nodded, breathing heavily. I can see it all. The knowledge, the history. This was humanity's legacy, hidden away for safety. The ghost ship was the key. Lyra moved forward, her hands trembling. If we can understand this technology, we could advance centuries in a single step. Humanity could explore the galaxy in ways we never dreamed. The shadow drifted toward the console, its presence calming. Mara realized it was guiding them, showing them the path forward. The knowledge was a gift, but also a responsibility. They had to preserve it, understand it, and use it wisely. Suddenly, the ground trembled. Energy pulses surged through the chamber, and holographic images flickered violently. Mara looked around, alarmed. "What's happening?" Lyra's scanner beeped frantically. "It's a defense mechanism. The planet. It's testing us. Only those worthy of this knowledge can proceed." Kyle tightened his grip on his weapon. "Test or trap? I don't like it." The shadow appeared at Mara's side, almost touching her shoulder. She felt a surge of understanding pass through her. The planet wasn't hostile, it was assessing their intentions. Were they explorers or conquerors? Were they here to preserve history or exploit it? Mara stepped forward, her voice steady. "We seek knowledge, not power. We honor the past. We will preserve what we find and share it responsibly." The energy pulses subsided. The holograms stabilized, glowing brighter and clearer. The shadow drifted toward the console again, and the symbols aligned, forming a readable pattern. Mara understood it as an instruction. How to access the full database of knowledge stored on the planet. Hours turned into days as the crew worked tirelessly, translating symbols, decoding messages, and exploring chambers. They discovered records of colonies that had existed long before any human settlement known in history. They learned of technologies that could manipulate energy, travel faster than light, and even preserve consciousness. Kale marveled at the discoveries. If this information reaches Earth, humanity will be unstoppable. But we must be careful. This kind of power, it could be dangerous in the wrong hands. Mara nodded. "We will be careful. But we also cannot ignore what we've found. Humanity deserves to know its true past, its full potential." As night fell on the alien planet, though night was only a concept, as the strange sun barely illuminated the sky, the crew gathered in the central chamber. The shadow appeared one last time for the day, its form flickering like candlelight in a breeze. Mara approached it. "Why are you helping us?" she asked quietly. "Why not remain here?" The shadow paused, then seemed to bow slightly. Images flashed in Mara's mind, memories of Captain Arendor and his crew, their mission, their hopes and fears. "I am bound to this place until knowledge is passed on," she understood. "We are the continuation. The mission never ended. It was waiting for someone worthy to carry it forward." Mara felt a deep connection, a lineage stretching across centuries. Humanity had always faced challenges, always pushed forward into the unknown. Now, they were not alone. The past itself had reached out to guide them. "Tomorrow," Mara said softly, "we explore further. We uncover everything. Humanity will remember who we were and who we can become." The shadow drifted toward the ceiling, dissolving into light. The crew watched in silence, understanding the weight of what they had experienced. They had touched history, spoken with the echo of the past, and been deemed worthy. As Mara looked around at her crew, pride and determination filled her. The journey had only begun. The ghost ship had brought them here. But it was their courage, their curiosity, and their unity that would determine what came next. The Aurora's Edge remained in orbit above the alien planet, its engines quiet but ready. The ruins below glimmered with secrets waiting to be uncovered. Mara knew the challenges ahead would be immense unknown dangers, alien defenses, and the vastness of space itself. Yet, she also knew humanity was capable of greatness, and they had just been handed a key to a future more remarkable than any had dreamed. The first chapter of their journey on this lost world had ended, but the story of discovery, courage, and legacy was just beginning. They had entered a place where history, technology, and memory intertwined, and every step forward would shape humanity's destiny. And somewhere in the shadows of the ruins, the echo of Captain Arendor watched, patient and hopeful, knowing that at last, humanity had returned to claim its forgotten past. The Aurora's Edge remained in orbit above the alien planet, its hull glinting faintly under the strange light of the distant sun. Captain Mara Vera stood at the observation window, staring down at the ruins below. Every structure seemed alive with energy, every symbol humming with a story waiting to be uncovered. The planet was no ordinary world. It was a living library, a monument to humanity's lost past. Lieutenant Kale stepped beside her, arms crossed. "Captain, we've decoded some of the symbols, but it's overwhelming. There's so much information, so much history. We don't even know where to begin." Mara turned to him, determination in her eyes. "Then we start where the shadow guided us. The central chamber's data core. That's where the most important knowledge is stored. Everything else will follow." Engineer Lyra joined them, holding a scanning device that flickered with soft blue light. "Captain, the planet is responsive. Every time we interact with a structure, it reacts. It's almost as if it's alive, judging our actions, learning from us." Kale frowned. "Learning from us? That's unsettling. We don't know what it's capable of." Mara's eyes narrowed. "That's why we proceed carefully. We respect it, and it will respect us. This is humanity's chance to reclaim its lost history. We can't let fear stop us." The team descended into the ruins, moving through corridors lined with intricate symbols that glowed faintly under their lights. Holographic projections flickered to life around them, showing scenes of humans exploring distant worlds, building colonies, and experimenting with technologies far beyond current understanding. Lyra scanned one of the walls. "These projections. They're like memory imprints. The planet is preserving every moment, every achievement, every failure. It's incredible. Humanity has done more than we ever knew." Kale's voice was cautious. "And if someone less responsible found this knowledge, the consequences could be catastrophic." Mara nodded, acknowledging his concern. "That's why we must be careful. We're here to learn, to preserve, not to exploit. Humanity's past is a gift, not a weapon." As they entered the central chamber, the energy within intensified. The data core at the center glowed brightly, its surface covered in symbols that pulsed rhythmically. The shadow appeared again, guiding them toward the console. Mara stepped forward and touched the interface. Instantly, the core projected a series of holographic instructions, detailing the process to access the planet's full knowledge. The crew began decoding the information. Hours passed, and the deeper they delved, the more complex the data became. They discovered detailed accounts of human colonies long lost, technologies that could manipulate energy, and even methods to preserve consciousness beyond death. Every revelation was more astonishing than the last. Suddenly, the ground trembled. The lights flickered, and a low hum echoed through the chamber. Mara's eyes widened. "What now?" she whispered. Lyra's scanner beeped frantically. "It's a defense mechanism. The planet is testing us again. This time, it's more intense." Kale tightened his grip on his weapon. I don't like tests. This feels dangerous. The shadows in the chamber shifted, forming patterns that moved like living beings. Energy pulses surged from the walls, creating barriers and currents that threatened to knock the team off balance. Mara realized the planet wasn't hostile, it was assessing their worthiness. Were they explorers, or intruders seeking to steal its secrets? Mara raised her hands, signaling the team to stop. "We show respect," she said. "We do not fight. We do not take. We learn. And we proceed with honor." The energy pulses responded, slowing and softening. The shadows moved aside, forming a path deeper into the chamber. Mara felt the planet acknowledging their intentions. They were being tested not for strength, but for character. As they advanced, the holographic projections grew more vivid. They saw the lives of humans who had traveled to this sector centuries before, building thriving colonies and developing technologies that seemed almost magical. Mara realized the planet held not just knowledge, but the essence of humanity itself. Its creativity, courage, and persistence encoded into every structure. Lyra approached a large console. "Captain, if we can interface with this fully, we could access everything. Every colony, every experiment, every discovery. We could bring back centuries of lost knowledge." Kale hesitated. "And if we fail? The planet could retaliate. We don't understand its limits." Onrend, Mara placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "We proceed carefully. With respect. With purpose. That is all we can do." They activated the console together. Symbols shifted and aligned, forming a readable interface. The crew watched in awe as detailed maps of lost colonies, star systems, and advanced technologies appeared before them. The knowledge was overwhelming, almost too much to comprehend in a single lifetime. Hours turned into days as they explored the data. They discovered technologies for energy generation far beyond anything currently known, propulsion systems that could cross light years in months, and methods to preserve consciousness indefinitely. Every discovery was a testament to human ingenuity and determination. But the planet was not passive. Occasionally, the energy pulses returned, testing the crew's focus, patience, and intentions. Mara realized that the planet was not only a repository of knowledge, but also a guardian, ensuring that only those worthy could access its secrets fully. One evening, as the alien sun dipped below the horizon, Mara gathered the crew. "We've uncovered incredible knowledge," she said, "but this is just the beginning. We must continue to explore, to learn, and to honor what we've found. Humanity's legacy is waiting for us, and we cannot fail." Lyra nodded. "The shadow. It's been guiding us. But it's more than that. It's a link to the past. To the humans who came here before. We're not alone in this mission." Kael looked thoughtful. "It's strange, isn't it? We're walking through the memories of people who lived centuries ago, and yet their hopes, their courage, it feels alive. We're connected to them in a way I never imagined." Mara smiled faintly. "That's the power of exploration. Humanity is not just what we see today. It's the sum of all who came before us. And now, we're part of that story." The next day, they ventured further into the ruins, reaching a massive hall filled with crystalline structures that refracted light into dazzling patterns. Each crystal seemed to hold data, memories encoded in a physical form. Lyra's scanner picked up faint energy signatures, translating the crystalline patterns into readable information. "These crystals," she whispered, "they're like living memory. Each one holds the life, achievements, and knowledge of an entire colony. We could spend years studying this and still not uncover everything." Mara nodded. "Then we begin. One step at a time. We prioritize what will help humanity the most. One." As they worked, the shadow reappeared, guiding them to specific crystals. Mara realized it was prioritizing knowledge, helping them navigate the overwhelming information to find what was most valuable. Suddenly, the ground shook violently. Crystals cracked, and energy surges pulsed through the hall. Mara shouted, Everyone, hold steady. Stay focused. The shadows shifted, forming barriers and pathways. Mara understood that the planet was once again testing them, pushing them to demonstrate patience, focus, and respect for the knowledge they sought. Hours passed, and the turbulence subsided. The crew, exhausted but undeterred, continued their work. They decoded critical information about energy generation, propulsion, and long-lost colonies. Each discovery was a step closer to reclaiming humanity's forgotten past. As night fell, Mara stood in the central hall, surrounded by her crew and the glowing crystals. "This knowledge, it's more than technology," she said softly. "It's a reminder of who we are. Humanity is resilient, creative, and determined. And now, we have the chance to build on that legacy." The shadow hovered nearby, its form flickering like candlelight. Mara felt a connection, an understanding that the captain of the ghost ship and the planet itself were guiding them not just to knowledge, but to wisdom. Kale approached her. "Do you think we're ready for what comes next?" Mara looked around at the vast expanse of glowing crystals, the intricate symbols, and the holographic projections of long-lost humans. "We have no choice but to be ready," she said firmly. "We carry the past with us, and the future depends on what we do now." The Aurora's edge remained in orbit, a silent guardian above the planet. Below, the crew delved deeper into the ruins, guided by the shadow and their own courage. Each step forward revealed more of humanity's lost history, more of the achievements and struggles that had shaped their species, and somewhere, in the heart of the planet and the echo of the ghostly ship, the memories of those who had come before watched, patient and hopeful, knowing that at last, humanity was reclaiming its legacy. The first major challenges had tested them, but they had passed. The planet's guardianship was not an enemy, but a trial, ensuring that only those who were worthy could access its full potential. Mara knew that even greater trials awaited, and that the journey ahead would demand courage, wisdom, and unity. But she also knew this: humanity was capable of greatness, and they had been chosen to prove it once more. The path forward was illuminated by the past, and with every discovery, they moved closer to a future where humanity could reach the stars, not just as survivors, but as pioneers of knowledge, courage, and hope. The planet below glowed softly under the light of its distant sun, a world of forgotten history and hidden knowledge. Captain Maravera stood on the observation deck of the Aurora's edge, looking down at the vast ruins and crystalline structures that had tested them, guided them, and revealed the lost legacy of humanity. She felt the weight of responsibility pressing on her shoulders. What they had uncovered was incredible, but the final challenge remained. Lieutenant Kale joined her, his expression tense. "Captain, the data core's last set of coordinates points to a structure at the planet's center. The energy readings there are enormous. It's unlike anything we've seen so far. The planet is alive there, I think. We need to be careful." Mara nodded. "We've faced every challenge so far with respect and focus. We proceed the same way. This is the final step. Humanity's future depends on it." Engineer Lyra added, "I've been monitoring the ghost ship's shadow. It's moving toward the central structure as well. It seems to know what to do, guiding us even now." The crew prepared for the descent. They boarded shuttles and made their way toward the massive central structure, a towering monolith of crystal and metal that radiated energy in waves. As they approached, the ground vibrated beneath them, and a hum filled the air. The structure seemed aware of their presence, acknowledging them as worthy, yet testing their intent. Mara stepped onto the alien soil, leading her team toward the entrance. Strange symbols on the surface glowed brighter as they drew near, responding to their approach. The shadow appeared, drifting ahead, beckoning them inside. The interior was immense, larger than any building they had ever seen. Crystalline formations spiraled upward, and walls shimmered with faint light, displaying holographic memories of long-lost humans. Mara felt the presence of countless explorers, scientists, and dreamers who had built civilizations here centuries ago. This place, Lyra whispered, awestruck. It's the heart of everything we've discovered. Every colony, every technology, every achievement, it's all here. Kale's eyes scanned the room, alert for danger. And every risk. We still don't know what could happen if we make a mistake. Mara stepped forward, placing her hand on a central crystal that pulsed with energy. Immediately, a wave of information surged through her mind, memories, technology, and knowledge from countless generations. She staggered, overwhelmed, but she steadied herself, remembering the lessons from the ghost ship and the planet's previous tests. The shadow appeared beside her, almost touching her shoulder. Mara felt a strange connection, an understanding passing between them. The ghostly captain's consciousness was guiding her, ensuring she would use the knowledge wisely. "Captain," Kale said urgently, "the energy, it's building, it's reacting to you." Mara focused, centering herself. She spoke softly, but firmly. "We are here to preserve and honor the knowledge of humanity. We seek guidance, not power. We respect this place and all it contains." The energy pulsed once more, then stabilized. Holographic projections formed in the air around them, showing human colonies thriving in distant galaxies. Technologies manipulating energy with precision, and records of explorers who had traveled farther than anyone in the present era. Lyra moved closer to the projections, her hands trembling. "Captain, this is more than we imagined. It's a complete record of humanity's achievements, even those thought lost. We could bring back centuries of knowledge in a single mission." Mara nodded. "We must understand it fully before we decide what to take. This is a responsibility, not a prize." The shadows within the structure shifted, forming shapes that seemed to test their focus and intentions. Energy pulses surged along the walls, creating obstacles and pathways simultaneously. Mara realized the planet's final test was not physical, it was moral and intellectual. Were they worthy of humanity's greatest secrets? Hours passed as the crew worked together, decoding symbols, stabilizing energy flows, and translating holographic memories. The shadow guided them, showing which areas held critical knowledge and which were archives best left undisturbed for the planet's own protection. Kale glanced at Mara. "I've never seen anything like this. It's not just technology or history, it's the essence of who we are. Humanity's creativity, courage, and resilience. It's all preserved here." Mara smiled faintly. "Exactly. And it's our duty to respect that legacy, to learn from it, and to share it wisely." They reached the central chamber, a massive hall filled with towering crystals that seemed to hum in unison. The energy here was almost overwhelming, but the shadow hovered nearby, guiding them to the largest crystal at the center. Mara approached, placing her hand on it once more. A surge of light enveloped her, and she felt herself lifted into a vision. She saw the human colonies centuries ago, their explorers charting unknown stars, building civilizations, and preserving knowledge for the future. She saw their struggles, their triumphs, and their unyielding determination to survive and explore. The vision shifted, showing the ghost ship drifting alone in the void, its captain reaching out across time for someone worthy to continue their mission. Mara understood then that they were part of a chain stretching across generations. Humanity's story was continuous, and they had been chosen to carry it forward. When the vision ended, Mara opened her eyes. The room was quiet, the energy stabilized. The shadow drifted toward the ceiling, its form glowing softly before dissolving into light. Mara realized the ghostly captain had finally been released, its mission complete. "Captain," Lyra said softly, "we've done it. We've accessed the full knowledge. The ghost ship, it's at peace." Mara nodded. "Yes. And now it's our turn to decide what to do with it. We have the chance to bring humanity into a new era. But we must do so responsibly." Kale looked around the hall. "The planet, it's incredible. But we can't stay here forever. How do we take this knowledge back?" Mara thought carefully. "We document everything we can, prioritize what will benefit humanity the most, and ensure it's shared responsibly. This is more than technology, it's a reminder of who we are and what we can become. Over the following days, the crew cataloged the knowledge stored in the central crystal and surrounding structures. They recorded technological designs, historical records, and cultural insights. Each discovery reinforced the greatness of humanity, the perseverance of explorers long gone, and the responsibility of those still living. The shadow appeared one last time, hovering near Mara. She placed her hand in the air, as if reaching toward it. The connection was brief, but profound. She felt the gratitude of the ghostly captain, the acknowledgement of the planet, and the hope of countless generations. Finally, the crew returned to the Aurora's edge. As they lifted off, the planet's glow softened, and the ruins below shimmered one last time. Mara looked back, feeling a deep sense of completion. They had passed the final trial, honored the legacy of humanity, and reclaimed knowledge that would shape the future. Kale stood beside her on the bridge. "We did it. The ghost ship's mission is complete. And now we carry its legacy forward." Mara nodded. "Yes, but this is just the beginning. Humanity has been given a gift, a chance to explore, to learn, and to grow. It is up to us to use it wisely." Lyra smiled, her eyes bright with wonder. "Captain, do you think humanity is ready for this?" Mara gazed out at the stars, the endless possibilities stretching before them. "We will never be fully ready," she said, "but we will rise to the challenge, as we always have. Humanity has survived, grown, and explored against every obstacle. Now, we have the knowledge and the courage to reach farther than ever before." The Aurora's edge set course for home, carrying not just data and discoveries, but a renewed sense of purpose and unity. The crew had faced the unknown, honored the past, and embraced the future. They were no longer just explorers, they were bearers of humanity's legacy. As the ship disappeared into the star-strewn void, Mara allowed herself a moment of reflection. The ghostly ship that had drifted for centuries, the shadow that had guided them, the planet that had tested them. They had all converged to deliver a message. Humanity's story was far greater than any single generation, and the courage to seek, learn, and grow would always define them. Somewhere in the depths of space, the ghostly captain and its crew rested, their mission complete. And for Mara, Kale, Lyra, and the rest of the team, a new chapter had begun. Humanity's future was wide open, full of stars to explore, knowledge to uncover, and legacies to honor. The Aurora's edge sailed onward, a small vessel carrying a civilization's dreams, hope, and courage. Humanity had been reminded of its greatness, and the galaxy waited, ready for them to take their rightful place among the stars.